All right, so thanks for being here today. We're almost at the end of the year, and for our last MicroAge Talks Technology webinar for 2018, we wanted to focus on some of the technology trends for 2019 to help you plan and budget for the next year and for the future. My name is Maria Fiore. I am the Director of Business Development for MicroAge. I am joined by Anthony Guillem, our marketing ninja, and our presenter today. As a reminder, you can ask your questions throughout the webinar by typing them into the questions panel of the webinar tool, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. Also wanted to mention that we are recording this and that you'll receive the recording later on today. All right, so I'm going to take just a minute now to give you a quick overview of MicroAge. MicroAge has over 30 locations across Canada, and we are the largest network of IT experts in the country. We've been delivering services and solutions to our clients for over 35 years. MicroAge is very passionate about technology, but what we really get excited about is helping our clients achieve the business results that they are looking for. We have a simple approach for doing this. We work with you to identify your challenges and opportunities so that we can provide the best services and solutions to help address the challenges and give you the ability to go after the opportunities. And we do this with the support of a team of experienced and dedicated professionals. The goal today is to share with you some of the technology trends that you should be looking at in 2019 that can help you achieve those business objectives that you have. So with that, I will turn it over to Anthony to begin the presentation.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So as Maria just mentioned, today's presentation is about top 2019 IT trends your business can't ignore. As the 2018 year is approaching its last month or end, we wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of a reflection and a few numbers and insights on what to look for, how to plan, and what are the things that are actually going on in IT that we hope you're actually looking into for your business or that you should be looking into. So if we look at today's agenda, it'll be fairly simple. We're going to go through IT budgets for 2019. We are running with a study that was done for North America. That's pretty interesting, actually. Three major tech trends for 2019 that you probably all know about, but are increasing a lot in, I'd say, popularity, but also in importance, because there are three major pillars that are encompassing IT needs for businesses for 2019 and actually a few years in the future. Just a quick thing on how MicroAge can help you guys. A few next steps that we like a few questions that you guys can ask yourself for your business and for the next few years. And a small Q&A session. We just gave this presentation in French at 11 Eastern time. The presentation takes roughly 35 to 40 minutes. Sorry about that. Which should give us plenty of time for an interesting Q&A session. If you have any comments, insults, questions, whatever, please use the control panel of the GoToWebinar tool that we're using. And yeah, feel free. Don't hesitate for a second, please. So let's start things off. Little disclaimer, the next 6 or 7 slides have a lot of numbers. I just want to go through them, kind of a 30,000 feet overview to give you guys a little bit of an insight of the study that was made by Spiceworks, which is actually quite interesting. So we're not going to go in exact details of single thing, but it gives us a great overview of the budgets and how companies are preparing for 2019. So first thing first, one thing that's super important when we're budgeting is how much money is going to come in, right? So the expected business revenue change from this year to next year per company size from Spiceworks, and those stats are for North American businesses, are pretty interesting. We're looking at a vast majority of businesses, whatever the business size, are actually expecting a growth in their revenue. And that's actually good news, because a growth in revenue means that you can reinvest in the best possible manner in a business to continuously improve and hopefully, drive better results for the business. We saw an average between 25 and 30% there with no expected change as far as revenue. So then the challenge becomes for the same dollar, are we able to maximize our ROI, right? Our return on investment. And then a small minority ranging from 18 to 7, 8% don't really know what to expect for 2019. So just a little overview there. And so this drives us to something that's actually quite interesting, right? So expected IT budgets are changed from 2018 to 2019 are pretty much following what we saw the previous slide, right? So we're seeing an increase in IT budgets for a lot of companies. We see the SMB space from 1 to 1,000 employees that actually looking at no real change in their IT budget, maybe a little bit of increase, maybe a little bit of a decrease. It depends about obviously the market, the size, the industry, etc. Right? But bigger businesses are looking to spend more in IT, and the reason is quite simple. Nowadays, IT, whether it's services, the actual hardware, um, whatever solutions, softwares, etc., they're playing a bigger role in every single aspect of the business, whether you're in sales, marketing, accounting, HR, operations. You are using IT tools on a daily basis, more than one IT tool, to collaborate in an easier manner, to actually work better and to streamline some of your workflow. Um, that being said, the top factors that are leading to IT budget increases are actually quite interesting, and I don't want to start going to all the single digits. That's for you guys to kind of digest, but I want to focus on the three that you see on the bottom left of your screen there. In the last few years, I'd say 3 to 4 to 5 years, we saw kind of slowing down from the typical refresh cycle of whether it was hardware or software or services solutions, right? Uh, there was a time when we were changing computers and infrastructure every 2 3 years because the technology was advancing. And now we saw businesses on a global scale, actually, but it's actually very true in North America, try to extend the typical kind of lifespan of whether it's laptops, desktops, infrastructure, servers, etc. And obviously, it seems like this year, 2019, and the next few years are going to be the result of that. So the main driver is actually the need to upgrade outdated IT infrastructure, because businesses slowed down that refresh cycle, but obviously that was going to catch up eventually. There's also a big increase in IT projects, right? We're seeing massive investments in security, more tools, more software being implemented, um, more people being mobile. We're starting to see businesses offering, for example, a laptop, a tablet, and a phone to their employees, etc. Which means there's a lot of priority that's put within deploying technology in a business to actually work better, and it's totally understandable, right? And one thing that everybody could have seen coming, I guess, it's the big increase in security concerns, right? We've seen mass media. I mean, it's all over the internet and local journals and Canadian news, for example. There's been security breaches left and right from the SMB to the bigger corporation. We're starting to see public organizations, whether they're schools, their orders, or the government, try to be they're starting to become worried about all the security, the cybersecurity breaches that are there. So these are the three main factors. Now, if we look at the three of the middle, they're actually quite interesting. Also, not as major, but still important to know. There's obviously employee growth, and we're lucky in Canada. Our economy is good. We have a low non-employment rate. There's changes in regulations. Obviously, we see the GDPR starting to tackle every business, and a lot of data regulations and different rules that are being put together. And obviously, business revenue increases, drives bigger investments and bigger investments for businesses as well. A little bit of the IT budget allocation for next year. So obviously, following the need to upgrade outdated IT infrastructure, there's going to be a big investment for businesses in hardware. And we have a few slides on that. The second leader is also software. As I just like I talked a few seconds ago, we're starting to see these software solutions deploying in every single aspect of businesses. Software companies there's an enormous amount of them out there. Today's a perfect example. We're running with this, cloud software that's called GoToWebinar. It's helping us deliver those webinars in an easy manner. We have basically nothing to manage. They're very complete solutions for a very decent price. I should actually ask for GoToWebinar for a little sponsor for that, but whatever. And hosted and cloud-based services are also being massively deployed in-house, whether it's cloud backup, cloud solutions. We're seeing infrastructure that are being hosted elsewhere than our business, et cetera, et cetera. What's also interesting is there's quite a bit of money that's going to be put towards managed services. We're seeing, especially in the SMB space, a big love towards managed services, because those services help a small company have kind of the same level of support or internal performance as far as IT is discussed than those bigger companies, because they're able to leverage these outsourced services for those businesses. And then there's that little 5% that's kind of a buffer for everything, right? That's what actually would be, I guess, appropriate when you budget, is to give yourself a little buffer if you don't want to bust your budget. A little bit of the hardware budget breakout. I don't want to go through every single one of them. What I really wanted to focus on is we spoke about hardware, right? And we're seeing that almost 50% of the hardware budget is going to go towards refreshing or acquiring desktops and laptops. So very user-based, because obviously we have more data to process. We have bigger tools, bigger softwares. Those refresh cycles were slowing down, so people need to refresh. There's also quite a bit of money that's going to go towards servers, so everything that's related to the infrastructure, everything that's power, climate, networking, security is there as well. So interesting little hardware breakout. As far as softwares are concerned, I thought that was quite interesting, because we're seeing a lot of money being provisioned towards operating system virtualization and productivity, which I guess in the last years is basically stayed stable. One thing that's super interesting to me is that roughly 10% of software budget is going to go towards security. So from the basics, antivirus and anti-spam solutions, we're seeing, and many more actually software solutions, we're seeing a lot of businesses investing in security, and it's taking a bigger and a bigger, I guess, form factor within businesses, within the budgets of these businesses. Hosted and cloud services are big. Once again, like I said, online backup and recovery, disaster recovery are huge. Everything that's related to email hosting, productivity, and web hosting tools are very important. The reason is simple. These the companies, the typical way these solutions were sold in the past is actually migrating or moving to hosted and cloud solutions, but it's also very practical, and it makes a lot of sense for businesses to adopt those solutions in an hosted or managed or cloud manner, because you get what you get to pay for what you need when you need it in a just-in-time manner. It also makes a lot of sense as far as management purposes, as we've seen a lot of these tools kind of work together. Managed services is a big and broad word. We wanted to kind of illustrate the different managed services that businesses are planning on using, because there's quite a bit of them. Managed hosting, obviously. Storage and backup is huge, because a lot of companies are worried about their data being correctly backed up, being correctly verified, and being actually available if they ever need it. Managed security is taking a place once again. It can get quite expensive for a company to try and completely manage their own security software, hardware, different systems and solutions in-house. And they don't always have the expertise, right? So relying on a firm that has um, the horsepower to deliver like these high-end security services for costs that make sense on a monthly or on a yearly basis for businesses is getting bigger and bigger. And obviously, the more, I guess, typical ones, everything that's from hardware support to communications, infrastructure, help desk are there as well. But I thought those 3, 4 major ones in the beginning were quite interesting. So now let's get to, I guess, the core of the presentation. These budgets are beautiful, but really wanted to focus on the tech trends that were going to have massive impact in 2019. So we basically regrouped them into 3 major trends for the purpose of this webinar. And all of these have different components, and we're gonna go right in them. First things first, the future is now. I like that sentence. It's a little bit corny, but you'll understand what I mean. Emerging tech, right, from AI, so artificial intelligence, blockchain, virtual reality, augmented reality, etc. It's starting to make a difference in our world and our businesses. Um, and in very, I guess, kind of subtle but very important manner. We have these CRMs now, for example, or these email platforms that actually have built AI that will automatically help you better manage your emails or tell you when to call a client, for example. It used to be something that people would say, well, it's cool, but we're not quite there. There was no, I guess, tangible utilities for them when they were presented to the world a few months or a few years ago. Now they're really starting to get implemented in businesses, and whatever the sector, the industry that businesses are in, people need to start thinking about those emerging tech, as they will make a big, big, big difference in not only internal processes, but also the way that we or you service customers, right? Customers or clients are being more and more demanding. They want kind of this easy and perfect experience, and those technologies enable businesses to actually drive better experiences in a better manner. The famous digital transformation is not a cool term anymore. It's happening. It's the present. It's right here. We're exactly in it. So that's an interesting one. Cyber threats are real. So take cybersecurity seriously. We've seen a ton of businesses, from the 3 to 4 people kind of small shop to the hundreds or thousands of employees. Those businesses have been hacked left and right. Very important to invest in that sense. And like I said, whatever sector or industry you're in, technology and innovation is now a must. It's closing the gap for better customer experience. It's empowering employees to work better, to work remotely, etc. So very, very important. Start with the first major trend, which is the digital workplace. And I'm probably not surprising anyone with this one. We're seeing this, like I said earlier this morning. I'm the kind of the typical millennial, and it's something that I'd say younger folks are actually expected or taking for granted in businesses that they want to apply in. But it's also something that's enabling employees of whatever the age to work better and to work in a more motivating environment. So what is it, right? The digital workplace? Well, it's based on a few things. We see all those cloud applications and services that are enabling us to work kind of from anywhere, collaborate a lot more easy through online collaboration, whether it's chat-related solutions like Microsoft Teams or Slack, for example, but also these online Word or Google Docs, for example, that are enabling us to collaborate better, and you get to save on the thousands or hundreds of emails that are the replies, all the V1 and V1.2 and V2 and the 10,000s of versions of a document. This is getting a lot of popularity and traction. Mobility is also huge. Today's a perfect example. I'm on this laptop with a cloud application. All I need is Wi-Fi, and I'm able to give this presentation. So from laptops to tablets to phones, we're seeing this huge push towards being able to working mobile from home, from a cafe, from a different room than our actual office. Believe it or not, or actually everybody knows, even in vacation, if we're able to have Wi-Fi and crush a few emails, there's a lot of us that will take that possibility if we can, right? And obviously, new technologies in the workplace. I said it with AI. I use a CRM to give you an example, which is a customer relationship management solution that has integrated into intelligence, artificial intelligence in it, and is able to tell me when's the best time to contact someone based on the last emails or the last conversations that I had with that person. And that's getting quite interesting, and people are expecting these. And it's a major trend, whatever sector you're in. Not only it's IT related, obviously, but like we said, IT is impacting every single department or every single part of a business. So what does it mean for businesses in 2019, right? Well, organizations will take proactive steps to engage and empower their employees, and what they will emphasis on how technology can, help their everyday lives. How can they work better between departments with integrating two solutions, for example, or working out of one system? How can a better Wi-Fi or better infrastructure can help you mash more data and actually work better? These are the kind of questions that are being asked right now, and it's happening. A few stats. So 37% of digital transformation specialists, they revealed that one of the highest benefits from digital transformation was the improvement in employee morale and engagement, right? So we're seeing, whatever the age, if you're able to leave work, say, an hour early to kind of dodge that traffic rush hour and, I don't know, grab your kids at the kindergarten, for example, and work half an hour from home, now it's becoming a factor. It's something that's boosting employee morale. They're able to kind of better mix this personal and professional life, and it's actually improving productivity at the same time, right? 4 out of 5 executives agree that it's great to have database, business solutions, but we need to invest into the human side of those decisions. Sometimes you'll see these automated reports or these stats that'll say, do A or B or C, but a human perspective will either validate or kind of correct those stats. And it's beautiful to have all these solutions in place, but there still needs to be a huge human aspect to kind of validating that data and knowing where it's going. And sometimes a human will know, for example, a local market particularity, or a seasonal particularity, or a trend that the automated reports will not see, etc. So it's kind of contradictory, but even though people are massively investing in that tech, they are still looking at the human side of the business to validate what that tech is doing for them, which to me makes perfect sense. 64% of employees, and I guess I kind of said that earlier, are saying they're more productive, they're happier, they're more engaged in a mobile and digital workplace, right? When you're able to work in an easier manner. If you're on the road, for example, it's clever, and it's actually comforting to being able to just log in out of anywhere, boost up your laptop, connect to a Wi-Fi, and do what you have to do. And with all those cloud solutions and Wi-Fi in every cafe or Tim Hortons or whatever, it's very possible inside, and it's very important for employees. So what does that mean for your business now, right? Well, businesses, whatever the size, whatever the industry, they need to embrace that digital transformation to stay competitive in the market. And this has like two components. First, in employee engagement and retaining talent and working better, it makes a world of difference. There's also the client facing side, right? Your clients are expecting kind of this technological possibility, and it's a great timing. Like I said this morning, yesterday I saw an ad for a car company. I won't say the brand, but I clicked on it just to kind of test it out. I mean, I'm in marketing, so I like to do it. And what I thought was, and it's not something incredibly new, but it's a differentiator as small as it seems. I was able from my cell phone to click this link, and I was able to try a car, not try it, but actually see the interior of a car in 360 just by moving my phone around. I could play with leather interior, the colors, the lighting, etc. And that's what clients are expecting nowadays. It's that extra step in technology that, believe it or not, will become common in a few years. But right now, it's making a difference between a company that's offering, you could be offering great service, but it's not marketed or it's not showed to your clients in a interesting manner, right? But seeing this is that little extra step that makes you consider that brand or that service or that solution just a little bit more, and it's making quite a difference nowadays. As a business, are you working on transforming your business digitally? Have you looked into different web platforms? Have you looked into maybe going paperless or something? Have you budgeted accordingly? Are you able to make this link between where you were and where you're going as a business to be more digital, um, and actually follow this path, right? Because it's going to be, it actually is starting to be a massive must, a massive necessity for businesses of all sizes. And do you have the right tools to transform digitally, right? Could you use the help of a technology partner? That's one thing that MicroAge does. We help businesses kind of plan and have the right tools to make that digital transformation a reality. And make sure you ask yourself these questions just to make sure that your plan or your budgets or your kind of vision of the future of your business actually follows this. Cybersecurity. We talked about it massively. If I speak for MicroAge in the last, 2 years, it's been ramping up, and then it literally exploded, I'd say 2017-ish, for businesses. It was this kind of a legend that there was these hackers that could get your data and everything, and then it just exploded. And so cybersecurity is a big trend that all businesses need to be aware of, need to prepare for, and need to invest in. Once again, sorry about that, I have a little bit of a cold. What is it, right? So we have all these typical security solutions, from antivirus to anti-spam to firewalls, for example, that are still quite there, right? There's also other pillars, right? This whole aspect of data management. I mean, if we speak for us in Canadian businesses, we don't want our data to be hosted, if I speak backup and data management, in a American or U.S. Data center, for example, because the Patriot Act gives the possibility to the government to access whatever they want, whenever they want. So for Canadian businesses, it's very important to make sure that these data are hosted in a Canadian infrastructure and that you're protected against it. Employee awareness is also huge. We're seeing the media kind of catch up on this. We at MicroAge have been talking about this, and we're actually offering services and training across the country for that. But hackers nowadays, they're using social engineering tactics to make you click on that malicious email, or make you click on that malicious web page, for example. And it's important that whatever the money that you put towards the best security solutions, the best backups in the business, etc., you want to make sure your employees are there. They're part of your line of defense. You want to make sure they know why is it important for them to know those cybersecurity concerns, what to do or not to do, and what are the consequences, right? If someone clicks on a bad link and the business gets hacked and the owner needs to ditch, I don't know, $100,000, you might be out of a job in a year. You never know, right? So you want to make sure that that employee awareness, and you're actually deploying training internally for your employees to know, what's up. Um, security intelligence is taking kind of a big place too, whether it's employee or people intelligence, but also AI. AI is starting to get big in security, more I'd say in the enterprise space. And there's a stats on that, I think in the next slide or something. But we're seeing this whole security intelligence taking a big place as well. Now, what does that mean for businesses in 2019, right? Well, now we live in a world of fast-moving automated attacks, and intelligence, whether from your employees or smart appliances, will be the key to keep businesses safe, right? It'll be the key to safeguarding your data, your clients' data, your IP, your patents, your internal processes, etc. It's very important. Once again, a few stats. The first one I think is the most interesting one. In 2018, roughly 35% of organizations were going to invest in multiple data security tools. That number in 2019 is aimed to be 60%, so almost double. So we're seeing it's not only a trend, like a media trend or something people are just posting about or things like that. It's actually being real, and businesses are investing heavily to make sure that the data that they that they collect, that they process, that they use, etc., is secure. So it's quite a big leap there. 90% of C-levels are hoping to improve the alignment between security and processes within their businesses. Let me explain. We have all these, these tools, these softwares. We have all this data, and then we have internal processes that kind of play with everything that we're able to access, right? Now, how do we make sure that the 6, 7, 8 tools that we're using are being secured? Each of them are being secured, and is deploying a new tool the right thing, or is integrating two tools, a more secure alternative? That's taking a big emphasis for businesses. And almost 30% of enterprise organizations are starting to use AI-based technologies to better respond to security threats. I guess this is more towards those big banks or financial institution, or those international businesses. AI is going to help us with appliances, solutions, and softwares to kind of predict where attacks are going, how are they evolving, what tricks are people using. And AI will help businesses, and right now it's a reality for enterprise organizations, but it'll become something that goes to the SMB market very quickly. I'd say a year or two tops. AI will help businesses to better understand the threats, better respond, be more agile, and be more responsive, and better, at the end of the day, protect themselves better against all threats. Now, what does that mean for you guys listening to us today? Well, a security breach costs between $84,000 and $144,000 to the average SME. 6 out of 10 that are being actually go out of business within 6 months. So trust me, you don't want to be part of this statistic. It's very important to take cybersecurity seriously. Ask your question: are you doing enough to protect your business from cyber threats? Is your network secured? If you have more offices, is the data that's being transmitted secure? Are your employees being trained on a regular basis? Are you deploying programs internally to make sure that your business is secure, that your clients' data, that your internal data is secured? And obviously, have you budgeted accordingly? It's great to say we're going to invest heavily, but if you only accounted for a small portion of your budget to go towards that, then obviously you might not be able to do the right investments to protect your business. So make sure you ask yourself these questions if you're about to finish your budgets, or make sure you're validating this if you finished them, and tell us what you think. I'd be curious to know. Provide feedback in this little tool that we have. It'd be interesting to read you guys. One thing that's huge as well in the third pillar is technology services, right? Like I said, technology is everywhere. Whatever department, whatever business, whatever industry or size you're in, it is everywhere. It's a must. So it's getting big. So what are these technology services, right? Well, managed IT services is huge. We're seeing all those businesses kind of leveraging the possibility to outsource some of the management tasks, whether they're related to, IT support, help desk, or managing cloud backups, for example. It's huge. All these adoption-based contracts, right? Whether they're cloud, they're software, or the on-demand contracts, what we're seeing is businesses a few years ago were kind of investing for the next 3 to 5 years, right? So today we're at point A. We believe that in 3 years we'll be at point B. So we'll invest today so that in 3 years that money is still it still makes sense, right? So it follows what we planned for. So you get to invest a lot more in the beginning, so it follows you for 3, 4, 5 years. Now it's kind of a just-in-time approach, right? It's kind of the other way around. You're able to pay for what you need when you need it. If you're a seasonal company, for example, or if you have times where you're in e-commerce and you need huge bandwidth for your store, your online store, you know that you will pay a little bit more, for example, in the Christmas season, but those costs will go down in the low season because obviously there's going to be more visits, more transactions, etc. And it's true for every single aspect of a business. It's we're seeing these softwares that pay per user, right? If you're instead of buying 50 licenses of something and you have 40 employees, but you're expecting to hire 10, well, you buy 40, you pay every month, and when you hire your 41st employee, then you buy an extra one, an extra one, and an extra one. It's a lot more convenient, a lot more clever, and it helps businesses kind of maximizing every dollar out. Now, all these technologies are beautiful, right? And I'm able to talk to you guys kind of from a 30,000 feet perspective of things, but obviously the consulting services by experts. If I speak for MicroAges, we have experts in different fields, and these guys are able to give you the right answers to your question. They're able to guide you in the right way. And these services are being consumed heavily by businesses because you can't be an expert in everything, right? And you need that expert advice for your technology to kind of answer your real and actual business needs. And I guess the last, and not the least, but the more basic one, everything that's related to support and break-fix services. So obviously there's hardware to maintain. There's people that have questions or problems with their IT. You need that help desk to help you guys out, or someone internally. It's part of the equation as well. So what does that mean for businesses in 2019? Once again, well, businesses are now looking at service providers to deliver services that will help them reach their business outcome, right? And interesting stats, 3 out of 4 IT service providers, and it's a fun stat for MicroAge because it's the one major pillar where we're positioning ourselves is services need to be in line with the business goals of clients, right? If you're listening today and there's services that seem great from 2 companies, but one is a little bit more aligned towards your real business objectives. That company understands where you're going and kind of personalize their services to your actual business needs. Well, the decision becomes hazy for a business, right? You're going to go with that service provider that actually is going to become a technology partner, right? And that makes a lot more sense to invest your money there because you know that these services are based on the outcomes that you actually want to drive for your business. The majority of companies are starting to use managed IT services to facilitate digital transformation, right? We have more laptops, more workstation, more tools, more software, more data. It becomes a big task to manage all of that. And managed IT services help whatever size businesses to kind of maximize their investment in that sense to maintain that part of the business so they're able to shift their activities towards things that are related to their actual business goals. And it makes a lot more sense for them. And it actually eases that digital transformation because you kind of have the hidden horsepower of IT that's helping your business achieve that famous digital transformation. And 30% of C-levels, they see the co-creation with third-party technology experts essential to make their business thrive in the future. You're not, nobody can be an expert in every field, right? You might be great in the financial sector, but you need kind of this dialogue or this reflection with an IT expert to know what to look for, what to invest in, where to put your money to make sure that it follows where you want to go as a business. For you guys, what does it mean? Well, are you leveraging technology services to help your business thrive? Have you explored your options out there? Could you rationalize costs? Could you increase revenue or profits with better technology services that are actually um, built or built around your real business goals or real business outcomes that you actually want to reach? Ask yourself these questions. These are very important. Sometimes uh, the investment you might be putting out today might be too much, or it might look like it's enough, but a little tad more will bring all the difference in the world. So just make sure you kind of have that reflection and just maybe explore your options. What's out there? Could you do a little bit more with better services, et cetera, et cetera? Now, it's beautiful, but how can we help? And I don't want to pitch MicroAge for 5 or 10 minutes. That's really not the goal there. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little bit of an overview. We're able to help in a lot of ways, all Canadian businesses. From consulting to help you guys better understand what's coming, where you guys are, and kind of thrive in that digital world. Maybe you need help to better budget and plan your IT investments for 2019. Obviously, we can help with that as well. We're able to deliver employee training and change management, whether it's the Microsoft apps, for example, being able to better use them, train your employees on security, etc. We're able to help you guys with that. Um, we can help with almost all IT services, solutions, and hardware that you guys need. Safeguard your business and your data from cyber threats, cyber attacks. And our 34 locations across the country can help businesses that have multiple locations, multiple offices to deal with less, I guess, partners and kind of streamline their service or IT needs. So that was kind of the 1 minute kind of sales pitch. Sorry if you didn't like it. A few tips and next steps for you guys. Have you completed your budgets? Please answer me. I'd be curious. Is it aligned? Do you feel like today's presentation was aligned with what your business actually needs, where you're actually positioning yourself for your business in the next, say, 12, 18, or 24 months? Could you use help? Have you tried getting help or an external input? And it might not be from MicroAge. Maybe you have another business you can ask questions to, or a friend, an acquaintance that is the same situation. It's worth kind of comparing different things. Invest in securing your data in your business. I understand that business can be kind of scared to invest in that sense and it's normal because everybody's telling themselves, well, I haven't been hacked anymore. I haven't been hacked ever. I don't see this happening. I'm this small shop, or I'm in this industry that nobody cares about. It doesn't matter. Everybody's at risk. Don't underestimate security, and take the right steps. I think that's the most important one. Take the right steps to make sure that your business will be able to thrive in the digital world. Everything's shifting towards digital, and I say that like it's coming, but it's actually now. And some businesses started this shift a few years ago, and they're ahead of the curve now. And get the right advice from from trusted technology partners. They'll be able to help you in that reflection and basically help you to know where to put your dollars and why. With that said, thank you very much for listening. I hope you found this information valuable. I told you 35 to 40 minutes. We're right on there. We set in an invitation. We have this free guide that are the 2019 IT trends that your business can't ignore. You can get it at this link below. It's not clickable right now, unfortunately. And I believe you will receive this link with the recording roughly in 24 hours, Maria.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks, Anthony. That was a great presentation, and the recording and the link that you see down below, so that you can download the guide, will be available to you actually in the next couple of hours. So you should see it come through in your emails very shortly. And a quick reminder while we're chatting here to, if you have any questions, to type them into the questions panel so that we can address them for you. And we do have a question. It comes from John. So he asks, and it's a two kind of follow-up question. So bear with me, Anthony. How big will desktop as a service be in 2019? I've spoken to another business and they love the ability to access their desktop at any time. They say it is hosted locally. It's a service you offer, but the follow-up to that is they do not use RDP or VPN into their server. The server lives on a local data center.
Yes, it's something we can offer, depending on where you're located, but I believe we're able to deploy this wherever you are. Your question was, how big is that going to be? I think it's pretty big. It's very cost effective in some sense. I'd be curious to know if these, you said desktop as a service, if it's only the actual user that's hosted somewhere, or the whole hardware is also provisioned with it as well. I think it's going to be big because businesses are looking for that that flexibility and that kind of all-in-one kind of package. I mean, if it were me and say, oh, I'm hiring someone, I'd like to just push a button and just send an email, and it's going to be delivered to me and everything's ready kind of out of the box. You don't need to like buy this hardware and connect to this license and install this and install that. Everything's pre-built and pre-deployed. I think it's going to be huge. It's something that we're seeing a lot in these kind of cloud-born businesses, whether it's software or whether it's digital services, and we're seeing a lot of this because it makes tremendous sense for businesses to invest in there instead of investing, like I said, into like buying the hardware and then having your IT guy install it and buy this new license and this and that. You'd rather have say, okay, well, this new user costs me, I don't know, X dollars a month. Everything's taken care of. I have I don't know, I have my Windows license, my antivirus, my Microsoft this and that. I think it's going to be huge. And yes, it's something we can definitely offer. I'd be curious to know where you're located, and maybe we can direct you to the right MicroAge to kind of have this discussion based on your real business needs. Like I can answer that from a general perspective, but if we have if you're able to have a discussion with you, with experts, I think that would make a lot more sense for you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, I mean, we were on another call last week, and one of the statistics that was quoted, and then this is, what you're talking about, John, is kind of like a subscription model, right? You buy as you need, and you buy what you need when you need it. And they were saying that by 2020, there's going to be about 35% of the procurement for all of IT is going to be in that kind of as a service model. And it includes your desktop or your device, or a bunch of other things that you can purchase on a subscription model. So we have another question from Kelly, and she asks, does MicroAge provide under consultation a SWOT analysis? So with recommendations and prioritizing a roadmap, IT strategic plan for small businesses. I think that's what we do pretty much all day, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. If you're saying SWOT, I'm thinking strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm more on the marketing side, so I'm used to do it on the marketing side. As far as the IT side, sorry. Yes, we can do it. It's not exactly like the SWOT model. I think it's more of a, where are you planning to go as a business? Where are you looking into? Where are your competitors? And what kind of tools, hardware, software, services you should need to achieve these goals. Yes, it's definitely something we can do. So once again, I guess reach out to one of us, one of your local MicroAges, and they can have the discussion in further depth with you.
Great. I'm not seeing any other questions coming through, but hopefully, the presentation that Anthony provided gave you something to think about. And, by all means, if you have any questions, you can give us a call and we'd be happy to help and answer any questions that you might have. I did want to also encourage you all to take advantage of the free guide. So like I said, the link and the recording will be sent in a couple of hours. So you should have that in your inbox either later tonight or when you come in tomorrow morning. Since I don't see any other questions coming through on the questions panel, I want to say, first of all, thank you, Anthony, for the presentation. Awesome. And thank you all for being with us. And I wanted to wish everybody happy holidays because Christmas is around the corner. And we'll see you all in 2019 because we will be continuing these MicroAge Talks Technology webinars. And so look for invitations to come join us and join the conversation. With that, again, thank you very much and have an awesome day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.